Hello, Namaskar and welcome to Sports Buzz with me Deepika, your daily window to catch up with all that's making headlines in the world of sports. In the next half an hour, we will bring you news and updates from the world of hockey, cricket, badminton, chess and much more. But first up, the headlines. India all set to lock horns with Belgium in group stage match at Junior Men's Hockey World Cup. Till now, India has lost one and won two matches in the ongoing World Cup tournament in Bhubaneswar. Mithali Raj, Smriti Mandhana enters top 10 of ODI rankings released by the ICC. Indian batswomen Mithali Raj and Smriti Mandhana have made it to the 3rd and 6th place of ICC Women One Day Cricket rankings. "27 players retained by their franchisees ahead of IPL 2022 mega auction. 10 teams to battle it out between themselves to rope in the finest cricketing talents." And PV Sindhu ensures consistency as she begins her campaign at the BWF World Tour Finals in Bali on a winning note on Wednesday. Kidambi Srikanth, 2 bags group match defeating France's opponent. To start with the latest update in the Men's Junior Hockey World Cup, Indian stalwarts are once again aiming to create history and the team's preparation is also looking strong, and especially the way the Indian team has made a comeback in the last 2 matches. The team carried out counter-attack as well as its defense with great strength. In the beginning of the tournament, the Indian team had to face a 5-4 defeat at the hands of France in their first match, but after the team defeated Canada by 13-1 and Poland by 8-2. The biggest thing was the team's vice-captain and penalty corner specialist Sanjay, who scored hat-tricks twice for the team. The mistake that the Indian team made in their first match was not repeated by the team in the rest of the matches. And well, now the team is all set to face Belgium, that specializes in playing high ball game, as well as the defense of the team also says a lot in itself. And starting the 4th of December, Olympic gold medalist Neeraj Chopra will visit Sanskar Dham School in Ahmedabad to interact with students on the importance of balanced diet, fitness, sports and more. In a tweet, Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur said, and I quote him here, "Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji gave a clarion call to all our Olympians and Paralympians to visit schools and interact with students on the importance of Santulit Ahar, fitness, sports and more. Starting December 4th, Neeraj Chopra will be at Sanskar Dham School in Ahmedabad to launch this mission," unquote. Well, a new mission for Neeraj Chopra now awaits. Moving on, Indian badminton player Kidambi Srikanth registered a victory in his first group match in the BWF World Tour Finals that began today. In Group B match, Srikanth defeated Thomas Junior Popov of France by 21-14, 21-16, and it took just 42 minutes for Srikanth to win the match. And on the other hand, in the BWF World Tour Finals, Indian pair of Ashwini Ponappa and Nsiki Reddy suffered defeat in the first group match. The Indian pair was defeated by Japanese pair of Nami Matsuyama and Chiharu Shida by 21-14 and 21-18. However, it does not mean that the road ends here for the badminton duo, as this is a group stage match and the progress depends on the people who are winning the group match for the team that will decide the way ahead in the ongoing BWF World Tournament. And moving on, Indian women cricketers have made a mark in the latest one-day rankings of the ICC. While Mithali Raj, Smriti Mandhana have been successful in making it to the top 10 of one-day rankings released by the ICC. Indian batswomen Mithali Raj and Smriti Mandhana have made it to 3rd and 6th place of ICC Women One-Day Cricket Rankings. And staying on cricket, talking about the Indian Premier League now, 27 players have been retained by the franchisees ahead of the mega auction. While many big stars had to leave their teams and move on for a fresh auction, take a look at our next report to know more about the retention of players and the suspense that awaits.
A total of 28 players were retained and remaining were released by their respective franchises in the IPL 2020 retention event. All 8 IPL franchises retained a few of their star players and had to let go of others, including some of key players. Chennai Super Kings, in a much-awaited decision, retained 4 players including their skipper MS Dhoni and star all-rounder Ravindra Jadeja, but had to release key players including Faf du Plessis and Dwayne Bravo. The Sunrisers Hyderabad also retained their skipper Kane Williamson and 2 uncapped players but had to let go of the key bowler Rashid Khan. The Punjab Kings retained 2 players including Mayank Agrawal and uncapped Arshdeep Singh and had to let go of skipper KL Rahul and key players including Chris Gayle. RCB, in no surprise, retained their former skipper Virat Kohli and 2 other including overseas player Glenn Maxwell but let go of key players including top bowlers Yuzvendra Chahar and Harshal Patel. The Mumbai Indians also retained 4 players including their skipper Rohit Sharma and experienced Kieron Pollard and released key players including Hardik Pandya. Other key players who were released including Ben Stokes, Jofra Archer, Shikhar Dhawan, Shreyas Iyer, R. Ashwin, Shubman Gill, Rashid Khan, Kikaso Rabada and Ian Morgan. On the other hand, the 3 highest paid players in the current IPL 2022 retention list include skipper of 3 times, Delhi Capitals Rishabh Pant, Mumbai Indians Rohit Sharma and Rajasthan Royals Sanju Samson. The 2 new IPL teams are expected to get time till mid-December to select a maximum of 4 players, 3 Indians and 1 overseas players, or 2 Indians and 2 overseas players ahead of the mega IPL 2020 auction. Sports Desk, DD India.
Well, the IPL auction will take place in the year 2022 and all the fans will be eyeing for who comes and joins the new team in the respective franchisees. Well, moving on for now, there was more frustration for England on Wednesday with their 4-day intra-squad warm-up match still to get underway after 2 days because of rain. No play was possible on the scheduled second day in Brisbane, with 1 day having also been washed out. England's Ashes squad will be restricted to an optional indoor training session later in the day. There is a slightly improved forecast for the last 2 days of their final practice matches before the Ashes series. While England have only had 29 overs of match practice on the tour so far, with the opening Ashes test set to begin in Brisbane on the 8th of December. And now let's talk about chess. The 4th game of the World Chess Championship ended in another hard-fought draw. The defending champion Magnus Carlsen, playing white, was playing briskly from a Petrov's defense, revealing that he had a few prepared variations to gain positional advantage on the king's side. However, Nepomniachtchi was up to the challenge and neutralized any threat with a sound defense and also mounting his own attack with a passed pawn on the queen's side. This signed the truce after 33 minutes. The match resumes with Game 5 today with both players tied on 2 points, while Nepomniachtchi plays white and the first player to reach 7.5 points wins the match. Great Britain missed out on a place in the Davis Cup semi-finals when Joe Salisbury and Neil Skupski lost the deciding doubles in a high-quality quarter-final against Germany. Salisbury and Skupski were beaten by 7-6, 7-6 by the German pair Kevin Krawitz and Tim Piotz in Innsbruck. The Britons missed 4 sets points in the first tie-break and let a 5-0 lead slip in the second. Well, Germany will play the Russian Tennis Federation or the Sweden in the last 4. And in the Arab Cup, Tunisia beat Mauritania by 5-1 in the first match of the 2021 Arab Cup at the Ahmed bin Ali Stadium in Al Rayyan, Qatar on Tuesday. 2 goals each for Saifuddin Jaziri and Mohammed bin Arbi and 1 from Youssef Mskani gave Tunisia a winning start in Group B. The tournament takes place 12 months ahead of the 2022 Football World Cup in Qatar, the first to be held in the Middle East. The Arab Cup consists of 16 teams divided into 4 groups, with the top 2 in each going through to the knockout stages. And the United Arab Emirates saw off Syria 2-1 in their opening Arab Cup Group B encounter. Chiao Canito put UAE ahead in their 24th minute with a header before Ali Saleh doubled their lead 6 minutes later with a neat low finish. Wad Al-Sma pulled one back for Syria, but the UAE, who had Mohamed Khamis sent off late in stoppage time, held on for victory. And moving on, England chalked up their biggest ever competitive victory with a 20-0 humiliation of Latvia in Women's World Cup qualifier as Ellen White broke the Lionesses' scoring record on a busy night for the scorekeeper at the Keep Moat Stadium on Tuesday, the 30th of November. Ellen White bagged a hat-trick to take her tally to 48 from 101 caps for England, beating Kelly Smith's mark by 2 goals. 10 different players found the back of the net in a one-way encounter, with 21-year-old Lauren Hemp striking 4 times for her first international goals. Beth Mead and Alicia Russo also claimed hat-tricks, with Ella Toon, Georgia Stanway, Bethany England netting braces, while Jill Scott, Jess Carter and Jordan Nobbs completed the demolition. England's previous record win dated back to the year 2005 when they hammered Hungary by 13-0. While England tops Group D with a maximum 18 points from 6 games ahead of Austria and Northern Ireland on 13. They have now scored 53 goals in the qualifying campaign for the 2023 finals in Australia and New Zealand without conceding, leaving goalkeeper Mary Yorps virtually unemployed. While Latvia sit bottom without a point, having conceded 46 goals and scoring just twice in their 5 matches. And Ellen White, who broke England women's all-time scoring record as the team recorded their biggest ever victory by crushing Latvia 20-0 at Doncaster's Keep Moat Stadium. White scored twice early on in the World Cup qualifier to take her level with and then passed Kelly Smith's mark of 46 goals before completing her hat-trick shortly after the break.
Don't mention it ever again. We just keep going. You know, I hopefully be selected again for England, and trying to do whatever I can for this team, scoring goals, performing. But yeah, I'm not stopping now. I love playing for England, and hopefully we can do something really special together. It feels very nice. Yeah, obviously, I don't know if you could see it, but yeah, it was very emotional on the pitch. I feel very proud to represent my country, to score goals. But I think for me, it was all about the team tonight. I don't know if you could see in my face as well when Alessia scored, when Lauren scored, when Jess scored. You know, we've got some incredibly talented players coming through. So, yeah, I feel very lucky to be surrounded by them. But, yeah, I feel very proud. Well, yeah, it did feel really emotional. And I feel really lucky that I had all my teammates there to support me, and they were there and, you know, really celebrating with me as well. So, yeah, I'm not going to lie and say it wasn't emotional, because it's been spoken about so much, and I didn't want to talk about it for a while. So, yeah, I feel really lucky that I can now just concentrate on the team, which is what I always do, and, you know, enjoy playing for England.
So that was Ellen White talking on her recent victory for Team England. Moving on, for 19 years old Burundian Edelfine Nimfasha, regularly carrying more than twice her own weight in rice on her father's bicycle, proved to be excellent preparation for becoming a professional cyclist. On Sunday, Nimfasha came 6th in Africa's first international women's cycling competition after a fall cost her the lead she had held for most of the way. Her determination earned her the Road Cycling Combativity Award, while 2 Kenyans and a Ugandan won top 3 prizes. The most intense Formula One championship fight for years will be decided over the next 2 weekends in the Middle East. Red Bull's Max Verstappen leads Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton by 8 points. Races in Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi bringing the season to a close, both on tracks that contain unknowns for the teams and drivers. While Verstappen has the advantage with his points lead, he can become champion on the new street track in Jeddah this weekend if results go by his way. But Hamilton has the momentum. He's heading into the climax of the season on the back of 2 convincing wins and with the performance trend clearly favoring his team. So much is at its stake. If Verstappen wins, it will mark the start of a new era. His first driver's title, final confirmation of his status as the leading man of the new generation of F1 stars, and the end of 7 years of Mercedes domination. If Hamilton wins, he will set a new all-time record for championships, already the most successful F1 driver in history with more wins and pole positions than anyone else, and equal on titles with Michael Schumacher. An 8th crown would move him clearly on every possible statistical measure. And Lewis Hamilton says he wants his legacy to Formula One be able to create greater diversity within the sport and not just be remembered as possibly the greatest driver of all time. The 36-year-old Englishman is currently involved in a thrilling battle with Dutchman Max Verstappen for the 2021 drivers' title, trailing him by 8 points with just 2 races to go. While Lewis Hamilton already has 7 record world championships under his belt and 102 race wins, both of them a record in itself. But speaking recently at the Mercedes factory, Hamilton said he wants his legacy of F1 to be seen to have made the sports even more diverse.
So I was like, I'm gonna do this research because no one else is doing it. Try and find out what the barriers are, why people aren't applying. These are the facts. These are the facts. These are the issues. These are the barriers, and this is how we can work together to implement change.
Lewis Hamilton wants his legacy to continue and should be the one that shall create greater diversity within the sport and not just be remembered as possibly the greatest driver of all time.
I think I always wanted to be remembered as one of the best drivers of all time. Probably deep down, I wanted to be remembered, working towards being the greatest driver of all time. Having all these championships is a cool thing, for sure, but what do you do with all those, right? So I really hope my legacy, when people look back in 10, 20 years, they look back and see a more diverse sport. It's because I challenge the sport and I challenge individuals that are in power.
The 36-year-old Englishman is currently involved in a thrilling battle with Dutchman Max Verstappen for the 2021 drivers' title, trailing him by 8 points with 2 races to go. Lewis Hamilton already has won 7 world championships under his belt and 102 races, both of them records. But speaking recently at the Mercedes factory, Hamilton said he wants his legacy of F1 to be seen to have made the sport even more diverse.
I feel like I've lived up to my potential. That's ultimately the goal. I guess the deepest fear is to not live to your potential. I don't win a race and go, wow, I'm great. Never ever felt that. I'm just always thinking, okay, how can I be better? It lasts for a short moment, the success, but then straight away your mind's on, well, actually, what people didn't see is, you know, I lost a bit of time there, or I could have been better here through the pit stops. So it's a never-ending cycle of searching for perfection.
Hamilton, who is a global ambassador for Puma's Only Secret campaign, which they say aims to spread hope and optimism, said that even now he is still the only person of color in the driver's briefing.
In meetings, I'm the only person of color there. I arrive at the race, even still today, I will continue in the driver's briefing, the only person of color there. So the goal ultimately is to create an ecosystem that reflects the outer world, right? Creating opportunities is what it's about. And so it goes all the way down to education, which is really where it all starts.
The Mercedes driver earlier called on influential figures in the sport to contribute more and help in creating a diversified environment. Hamilton is the first and so far the only black driver in the history of Formula One. He's been at the forefront of his team's campaign for equality following the murder of George Floyd in the year 2020. Mercedes switched the color of its livery from its traditional silver to black in support of Black Lives Matter, a campaign Hamilton has vocally supported. Sports Desk, DD India. So F1 driver Lewis Hamilton seeking everyone's support to end racism. Well, moving on, first time in the history of Rajouri, a district of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, a young cricketer Iman Zari selected under-19 Indian cricket team first from border list. Iman Zari has been selected in Four Nation upcoming tournament Cup under-19 cricket in Dubai. In December, 4 teams will be participating in this tournament. Young generation of Pir Panjal region are very happy and excited after selection of Iman Zari in Indian cricket team. First from Borders district Rajouri in the history. Iman Zari saying my dream was playing in Indian team, now have been fulfilled by dream. So I'm happy for the selection in Indian team from the Border district Rajouri. I come from a very poor family and my family has been supporting me throughout.
It's been a dream come true for me, representing India in Dubai 4th Nations Cup, and it's been an honor to wearing this jersey. और ये मेरे लिए बहुत गर्व की बात है कि हिंदुस्तान को रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए मैं बाहर की कंट्रीज़ में जा रहा हूँ और ये जर्सी पहनना, टीम इंडिया का लोगो पहनना, ये मेरे लिए गर्व की बात है.
Great news coming from the border district Rajouri. Well, moving on, All Manipur Gymnastic Association organized a state-level gymnastics championship in the main stadium, Khuman Lampak. The 2-day-long championship saw participation of 51 players, including both boys and girls from across 6 districts. Out of the 51 players, 18 boys and 18 girls are competing in artistic gymnastics and 5 girls are competing in aerobic gymnastics. Well, many young children in Manipur have opted gymnastics as their sports discipline to improve their skills and prepare for various national as well as international events. All Manipur Gymnastic Association has been organizing various state-level tournaments. These young gymnasts have been getting regular training inside Khuman. The young aspiring gymnasts put on a scintillating display of their skill sets. And that's all the time we have in today's edition. But before we end the show, we leave you with breathtaking visuals of the flight of wingsuit pilot Sebastian Alvarez. In fact, he became the first person ever to fly in and out of an active volcano. Take a look. Bye-bye.